Hey VC, how's everybody doing out there? Kimbo here, doing another thread response. This one to Rob Walker's Battle of the Bands contest, where we show kind of some, I think 10 pairs of bands. No, sorry, 20. And then you pick which one's your favorite. Not trying to determine who's best or anything, just kind of trying to show your personal taste of the kind of music you like. So I believe Rob Walker over in Manchester, England started this one. If you haven't checked out Rob's channel, it's a great channel. He especially loves some of the local Manchester bands and pretty much all kinds of music. So here we go, we'll jump into it. So the first one is Beatles versus Stones. So here we go. Well, I better back up. Beatles versus Stones. I know most people in VC are Beatles fans. I'm a big Stones fan, so I choose the Stones. That's my first one. Forgive me for that. The next one is the Who versus the Kinks. So let's see. So we got this Who versus the Kinks. I think if I were to choose the best album, I think the Who's Next. But then if I had to listen to the next three albums, they'd probably be Kinks albums. Especially this one right here is one of my favorite all-time albums right here. So I'm gonna choose the Kinks on that one. Okay. Next is the Byrds versus the Doors. So both real good bands. I think I tire of the Laurel Canyon sound pretty quick, so I prefer the Doors on that one. And the next one is Peter Gabriel versus Kate Bush. That's a pretty easy one for me. I'm a big Kate Bush fan, love Kate Bush, so I'm gonna choose Kate Bush on that one. The next one is Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder. So I know all the major hits of Marvin Gaye, and I have a little bit of his stuff, but I mostly have Stevie Wonder stuff. Love Stevie Wonder. I'm gonna go with Stevie Wonder on this one. Who can say no to that face? All right, the next one, my box just fell over. One moment. U2 versus Echo and the Bunnymen, which is kind of a strange lineup for me because I don't know. I think U2 is a little bit of almost a super group, but I love both these guys. I'm a big fan of Echo and U2, especially certain albums of U2. So I'm gonna go U2 on this one, especially because of this album. Okay, the next one is Wings versus ELO. So I like both of these somewhat, a little bit, medium. ELO definitely has a couple great albums. Wings, the first couple Wings albums that Paul came out with, I think are great, big part of my childhood. So on this one, I'm actually gonna choose the Wings on that one. The next one is Joy Division versus the Smiths. So, Joy Division versus the Smiths. At the time when the Smiths were around, before Morrissey went on his own, I didn't like it. I was not a big fan of Morrissey's singing voice. Since then, and he's done some solo stuff, I've kind of grown accustomed to it. I don't mind it. But I got to give this one to Joy Division and Ian Curtis. I just think they did so much to revolutionize music. So Joy Division on that one. The next one, Rob had Iggy Pop versus Lou Reed. I changed that one up a little. I mean, I think it's more, to me, Iggy and the Stooges and Velvet Underground would be more of a matchup. both very instrumental bands in changing music. But I'm gonna go with the boys from Michigan here, the Stooges. I just think their first 3 albums are so great and did so much to change music, the future of music. Okay, I'm back. Had to get a drink of water there. So next matchup is Van Morrison and Elton John. And on this one, I think I'm gonna go with Elton John. So much of his early work shaped the early 70s, big part of my childhood. And plus he does the best version of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. So anyways, great album. Next one is, oh, did I get these out of order? Oh no, Bob Dylan versus Neil Young. Let's see. I'm a big Neil Young fan. I'm not as big of a Dylan fan. I can definitely listen to more Neil Young than I can Dylan. So I'm gonna go with Neil Young on that one. And then we have Blondie versus the Pretenders. Here we go. Both great, love them both. But I'm gonna go with the Pretenders. I was always a big fan of the Pretenders from the beginning. Chrissie Hynde, just such a great performer, seeing her live. Great album. Next is David Bowie versus Prince. So again, both great music. Love them both. But I think just because of the overall work and timing that David Bowie put in, the amount of work that's out there, I'm gonna go with David Bowie on that one. And the next one is Blur versus Oasis. So my Blur knowledge is not very much. I haven't listened to a lot of their stuff, so maybe it's just not from knowing. But Oasis is easy winner on that one, at least until I get to know a little bit more about Blur. But from what I've heard so far, it's Oasis. All right, the next one looks like it's Bruce. Oh, there's a Pink Floyd versus Led Zeppelin, which I didn't pull either one of those. I can't choose one of those two. They're both such great bands. Such a big part of my musical history. I'm not going to choose between Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd. That one's a toss-up for me. The next one, Bruce Springsteen versus Tom Petty. So, love both these guys. I think I'm going to give the nod to Bruce Springsteen on this one, although this is very close. I just think Bruce, his first albums are just so great. Plus, on Tom Petty, there's a few Tom Petty songs that, especially when this album came out, that they played on the radio. The song Refugee, I got really tired of really fast. So anyways, Bruce Springsteen on that one. The Jam versus XTC. So Rob's gonna hate me on this one, but I prefer XTC, at least from everything I've heard so far. I haven't heard everything by both those guys, but I'm a little bit of a XTC fan myself. Okay, and then Paul Simon versus Joni Mitchell. If you've been watching Shannon D's segment at all, there's only one choice here. It's Joni Mitchell. Oh, I got another Joni Mitchell too. There you go. Good stuff. Okay, and then we have Fleetwood Mac versus Queen. So this one's a little bit of a tough one. I actually prefer early Fleetwood Mac, then Queen, then later Fleetwood Mac. But if I had to go overall, I'd go Queen. There's a run of probably about 8 great albums there that I really like. Okay, and then Elvis Costello and the Police. Oops. So, not a super big Elvis Costello fan, so I do semi-like the Police. Not a big fan of both of these guys, but prefer Police a little bit more. And then I got one last bonus one that I wanted to do. And that is, let me grab 3 albums here. This is a three-way. So Brian Jonestown Massacre versus Black Rebel Motorcycle Club versus the Dandy Warhols. 3 bands forever linked by mysterious events that happened between San Francisco and Portland. So those 3, all great bands, great sound, but to me, there's a clear winner between the 3, and it's